Yep, we are talking about uninstalling today. Uninstalling software, finding it to uninstall it, and since Flash is going by the way of the dodo, we're going to show you how to install Flash also. Let's jump in. Flash, Jordan, what are your thoughts? You like Flash? You miss Flash? Just get rid of Flash? What do you think?
I'm not a fan of Flash, and it is worth noting that through Windows updates or Chrome updating, Flash is going to get removed no matter what you do. This is just kind of a way if you don't want to wait the next 7 to 10 days.
I brought up the Adobe Flash Player end of life, web page here. A couple of things I found quite interesting, right? Obviously,
the screen's not showing up.
Screen's not
You might
showing
want to
up.
open up vMix.
Oh,
Isn't this why we have a pre-show?
Yeah,
I thought it was.
we were having too good of a time.
Oh, no frames. All right, hang on. Maybe.
Hey, you want us to showcase this?
This is actually a brilliant on Lex's part. His way of showing that Flash is dead is just a blank screen.
There it is.
There we go.
That's what you guys get for letting me do this.
That monitor is as dead as Flash.
Well, I will say Flash had one of the longest death rattles of any piece of software I've ever seen.
As a matter of fact, check it out. Put this out in July of 2017.
Yeah, 3 years and people are still stunned.
Still still.
What? This came out of nowhere.
Pikachu face.
Well, there's the end of life, guys. The other thing I thought was interesting under 3, what does the Flash Player end of life mean? And, I really don't like to read, but this part right here, they're going to block Flash content beginning January 12th. So let's get rid of it. There are links in PDQ Deploy when you go pull packages that show that. If you want to read that, just pop on that link and it'll bring it up for you. And Jordan, I just closed out that screen you needed later.
Okay.
So if you want to the package library, again, there's that link. Let's just go search for Flash. And there, right there, uninstall Flash Player. I'm going to download that. Again, the other nice thing is with inventory, we can tell everybody who has Flash. So let's go pull up our Flash collection. I'm surprised I actually typed that correctly. Runtimes, Flash. So we got 26 machines that have got Flash. I think we should just do it. Jordan, what do you think?
Get rid of all of them?
All of them?
But what if we need it in the next 4 to 5 days?
Go install it before the packages are gone. I guess. Hey, when are we pulling? We're pulling those packages by the end of the month, right? They're not going to be available?
January 12th.
Yeah, so I think after all of the updates have come out, they're removing it anyway. We're moving the collections for it.
Okay.
I believe that Flash has a built-in time bomb, so it's not going to work at all, even if you try to run it.
July 12th.
Or January 12th and after.
Yeah, January 12th, not July 12th. All right, I just hit deploy. There it goes. It's going to go out there and uninstall. Tested a little bit of this yesterday. Didn't want to launch it to everybody because then I'd have nothing to show you. So,
the uninstaller we have in our package, it uses the uninstaller from Flash. So normally they have the MSI or the EXE where locations, and this will go through multiple locations, not multiplications. But this will go through and remove it either way, so it kind of removes the guesswork, so you don't have to worry about how or where it was installed.
There it is, guys. Easy, deploy it, be done with it. I think I'm done with it. We'll just that'll finish on its own. Let's talk about finding software that you want to uninstall or may need to uninstall. If you go to inventory, I'm going to select all computers, go to reports. Easy way to go look at what's on your machines. Again, this is application report. I love this thing. Again, I like to group by the application name. And at this point, I've got a listing. There's some Flash there that is going to be disappearing here momentarily. Again, you can search for things like torrents or coupon printers. I'm going to look up Epic Pen. Here we go. I always threaten to uninstall this. This is what we use to do the highlighter that I never use. So I don't know why we have it on here, JJ.
Shame on you.
Shame on me. But, there's ways to find that. Now, we're going to take a look. I dropped a bunch of bandizip, and if you spell it right in the filter, it'll actually show up. There we go. And again, when these machines show up, you can just double click on them and go directly to the machine itself and take a look at the applications. And let's take a look at bandizip. Okay, if you right click and go to uninstall on that, it is going to, open up the uninstall string. You'll notice this is an exe uninstall, so we do have to provide the silent parameters. This, again, probably nothing new for any of you, but a little Google foo, silently, and again, I can't type. Uninstall.
Google foo nothing. Your spelling foo is
You
fantastic.
did
Spelling
so
foo?
good in the dry run.
Look at that, right there. It spells for me. Can you see it silently? That's what I meant. It knew what I was thinking. How to uninstall bandizip now. I guess I could read it, but check that out, right? JJ, check it out.
There goes
Right there.
your
I
New
used
Year's
Epic
resolutions.
Pen, finally.
There we go.
/S. Okay. You can put that there and then execute this.
So that's capital S. It's not always case sensitive, but don't gamble.
Thank you for
just stick with
pointing
what's
that
there.
out. And I'll tell it to update the applications. You know, you can do this, or you can right click. Instead of doing one, you can do them all by creating an uninstall package. And again, when this uninstall package is created, it's copying the uninstall string over. So you will need, once that comes up, and there it is, to go in and provide the uninstall string, which is a capital S, not a lowercase s. It's also good to build, you know, like a quick dynamic collection to find bandizip, which is pretty simple. Again, dynamic collection. I guess you probably should name it instead of new collection. Bandizip. We're just going to look for any computer with an application name that contains bandizip. And yeah, I couldn't spell that either. You figure after 3 or 4 attempts,
The keyboard must be broken.
keyboard's broken, not my fault. Well, you'll see that Allen Rails is no longer there because it did uninstall it, but there you go. There's a bandizip collection. Surprisingly, we already have one. I just wanted to show you how to do that. Let's just jump back to Allen Rails. Let's look at Putty
Okay.
in regards to a uninstall. And if I right-click and I hit uninstall on that, the great thing is I'm going to get an MSI uninstall, which already has the quiet parameters and the no restart. Any thoughts on this, Jordan?
On the MSI working on default, or
Well, you know, if I were to make this into just a package and launch this out to all the machines, any issues you could see maybe happening with this?
if it's an MSI that's not Apple related, it's probably going to install every one of that version and that version alone.
So do I need to make uninstalls? I guess let's go find out.
Yeah, so I guess each one is MSI is going to uninstall per version.
Did I hear you right? It's going to uninstall per version?
Yeah.
Per
So-
per app ID, each one contains that. So
Really? I'm thinking per version. I'm going to be, my brain's going to be cleaned out.
I was going to go ahead and change that.
You can remove all those gross MSIs.
Gross, get that naughty software off there. The perversion needs to go away. The best way to do this, if you're looking, is to probably build a report. And again, this will be really simple. We'll go build a new report. It's a basic report. I want computer that has it. Application name. Application name. will
How
be-
come I've never thought of that before? We group by per version.
Is that per
been called
space
out on the
version
webcast
or
I
just
never, yeah, okay, sorry.
Never
I'm
played.
related to the game, but I'm just over here just cracking up like a kid. It's fantastic.
He said
It makes for
perversion.
some awkward meetings.
Yes, it does.
Talk about perversion.
There's a few words in our product that elicit giggles.
I'm aware of that. I never grouped those together. Sorry, Lex.
All right, so let's name this report properly. The Putty Perversion Report. Should I put the space in?
That's probably best.
Okay, Putty Perversion. A lesser man would be laughing at that, and I am a lesser man, so run the report, and there's all my versions of Putty. Now, I'm going to group by the version, okay? This may, if we take a look, break down our MSI uninstall strings for us. Yeah, check out that perversion. Now I'm stuck saying it all day. So each version has its own uninstall kind of like unique identifier there. I didn't come across, Hanks brought it to my attention the other day that depending on the install of iTunes, I don't know if it has to do with Bonjour or whatever, you can have the same version that have got different uninstall strings. So to make this a little easier, what we're going to do, make this smaller. I'm going to build a collection per version, per Putty version,
There we go.
that so that we can get the right uninstall strings to the right machines. So again, probably need to make sure new dynamic collection. Application name contains Putty.
David Buddy?
Silly Putty, yes.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Silly Putty, version contains. Oh, by the way, when you're doing version comparisons, guys, make sure you use version comparisons. So version, we're going to do version equals, and then I am going to copy this first version 70. Control C. I don't trust my keyboard. I'm going to do
That's
that.
definitely a gotcha, especially for the new customers of when they're looking at the comparisons of realizing that versions down at the bottom of the comparisons are that's where you want to start comparing against the numbers and the version numbers, et cetera, et cetera. The rest of it will compare against strings or regular expressions.
Yeah, thank you, man. So I've got Putty version 70, 71, and 74. So I'm just going to duplicate this 2 times, and then we'll go. We'll make 71 next. The nice thing is, all I've got to do up here is minor amounts of typing. Maybe a delete. There's Putty 71. Look at Putty 74 was the last one. Yep, 74. So 74, version 74. Give that an okay. And so I've got, well, it says I've got 7 of each of these. Let's verify this. Groot is in 70. Groot is in 70. 71. We've got Chloe. Chloe, good. 74. I just want to make sure all these took.
You can see
before
the
I do
gears
anything.
turning.
Ellen Rails and Ellen Rails. Okay, so there are my collections. Let's go build a package to remove all these. New package. I'm going to do 3 command strings. New command, and all I'm going to do is go in here, and at each version, I'm going to copy the uninstall string. Seems super basic, but you know what? I am going to show you ways to make this run on specific. We'll call that 70. And then I'm going to, let's see, we'll just do a new string because I'm already copying the string. This will be 71. So what you should learn today is copy and paste is always my best friend because I can't type. But if there's better ways to do this, yeah, you might learn them today from
When it
George.
comes to MSI GUIDs, if you can just type those out without mistakes, then congratulations, you are a superhuman.
Yeah, that is a good point.
So while you're building that one, it's worth noting that we have the EXE and the MSIs, then the UNINS, and then 3 digits.exe.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I've tried that one, / very silent, all capitals, has worked, but I can't find anything on the internet that states that's a uniform standard, so I didn't want to put it in there. Just saying, if you see that in your uninstall string, you could probably try very silent, and I'm going to guess it works for you.
So UNINS.
And then 3 numbers.
3
It's
numbers.
normally 001.
Yeah, I actually ran that the other day too. Okay, at this point, I've got the 3 uninstall strings. I'm going to go into conditions, and then I'm going to point the 70 at our really super cool Putty 70 collection. So it only runs on those. 71 gets to run on surprise, surprise. 71. And 74 is going to run on. Anybody want to guess?
Well, slow down. You lost me.
74. I lost you there. All right. So again, I'm just taking this at the step level to make sure that the 74 uninstall only runs machines that have 74 on it. So save it. I named this the uninstall Putty perversion. She's sitting over there laughing.
Pronounce that
Shane.
right, man.
All right. Well, let's do this.
Take
Let's
that,
launch
Linux.
it. The only thing is I'm going to launch it to just a handful of these. We'll do Abba, Chloe, and Alan Rails. So deploy once so we can see it run on one of each of these. So let's just select computers. Alan Rails. What was the other one? Chloe. And then Abba. I like all the A's because they're at the top. Chloe, I don't know how I got that, but all right, boom. There it is. Deploy now. So it's now going to go uninstall. We'll just take a look at the the logs on, I guess, whichever one finishes first to verify it ran the correct one. Oh, it failed on all three of them. Let's look at the output log and figure out what I didn't do right.
I can verify that it worked yesterday.
The system cannot.
This is fun when it's the other person doing it.
Jordan's like, not my flop sweat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing I don't have anything I'm running that I'm nervous about later, because this could definitely not turn around and get me.
The system could not find the path specified. Well, let's go take a look.
I wonder what that could mean.
We have entered the troubleshooting portion.
That's how you know we're live.
You know what I think I did? I think I launched bandizip against it.
Let me guess. You used whatever you did included the wrong path. That's.
Whoopsie.
I'm going to go ahead and step out on a ledge on this one.
All right.
So we have confirmed you can't uninstall bandizip from machines that don't have it
That
installed?
don't have it installed.
Okay.
In case there were any deniers out there.
Shut up.
Good Lord, Lex.
It hurts because it's true. I mean, that's usually what I say to get you guys to shut up.
And don't worry, I'm sure my side will work fine, and this
Yeah,
will come
okay.
back around.
By all means, throw down, buddy. All right. You want to take a bet whether it's going to work this time? Boom, deploy.
Well, that's right. And do we have any questions we want to take?
With Lex,
Yeah.
it's always even money. So.
Hey, there we go. It actually ran because bandizip didn't exist on the others.
You have
Yay.
recovered enough cred to answer a question.
All right, question, please.
Okay. This
Avert
is,
my shame.
this is somewhat relevant. What do you guys think is the easiest way to remove an application that has different versions installed across your clients, with each version having a slightly different way to uninstall it? Love the webcast. Keep up the great work, even the mistakes and fixing those mistakes on live webcasts. Sincerely, Chris S.
Now
I
answer
don't
this
know.
without using-
Uninstalling per space version. I'm going to start saying per. Just like I just did, only make sure you use the right package when you deploy it. But again, those MSIs are going to have, obviously different identifiers.
There's quite a few packages. You might be able to find some on the in the package library
right.
where I've used just a for loop to go into the registry and grab all the IDs that are whatever ID is relative to that, or IDs that are found on that machine, and then just run through those, so you don't have to hard code each one in there. You just know where to look. I've done that a number of times.
Well, I have something that, if it works, will blow your mind.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. Do we get another question?
If I was stronger, I would blow your mind.
You want another one? Really? Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right, here we go. Dear Lex, is there any way to remotely uninstall a software which was installed by an old MSI or EXE that I don't have? The uninstallation of two software actually doesn't work. In PDQ, it's just written, running, and even if I set a time running out, the status is each time running, ... Sincerely, Champlain, I.
In the first place, I would look to uninstall that as an inventory and check the uninstall string and try that first. If it requires
there's some old. I'll step in here. There are
by all
some
means.
older applications that this was really popular. God, 15 years ago, but there are still some that hang out there. You actually need the source MSI available in order to uninstall it. It's odd. And if you look in the registry in the uninstall key, you'll see sometimes like a source MSI path.
Mm-hmm.
If it can't find that, then you can't modify or remove it unless you do it brute force. Yeah, that's actually why we added in the package library when you build a package, that there's a little checkbox to include to keep the source there.
Mm-hmm.
That's for those applications that kind of require that. So what you want to do is go look for something that has source in there in the uninstall string. Do a registry scanner, go out to that machine's that has this, and look for the source MSI. It might be on a file share, but you can usually hunt it down and find it, and you can even modify that path, and then it should work as long as you end up pointing to that MSI. The key is finding two things: the MSI it's looking for, and then the path that expects it to be. You can either modify that path or place it in that path. But that's kind of a remnant of an old MSI think.
that installation requires source. I just popped an install step. That's under options, guys, right there. That's what Shane was mentioning. Well, now that I've shown you the best way to do this, any thoughts, Jordan?
No, I'm good.
I just taught people how to fish. That's how you do it.
This may surprise you, but I would probably do PowerShell
Really?
and on how I would do it.
I'm pretty sure you would too. You guys want to see how Jordan would do this?
All right, and we'll see if it works.
Nobody said yes. I heard nothing.
Nothing.
No one wants to.
Because it's a given.
That was rhetorical.
Let me take what's important to me.
Wipe down your sweat.
I can say I was feeling confident before I watched all of the mistakes that just happened.
It was a beautiful mistake.
So I suppose there's a delay method before we start. Do you have any questions before I dive in?
Can I clear up anything Lex said before I start?
Can I say something credible?
No, there's nothing? No questions? Yeah, all right. So basically what I'm doing, and this will mostly work as to provide some of the information at the end of it. It's just a script that will basically connect to the machine, and it will find the registry key, and from there it will build all the uninstalls for you. If it's missing the install media, from the earlier question, that still won't work, but it should work for everything else. So in this case, we're building basically, there's 3 options. You can specify a specific version you want to look to remove, but if not, perversion's built into my scripts.
Perversion just came.
It always has
didn't
been.
Today. It just showed up.
All right, and then either you could do application name or publisher. If you put publisher, it's going to find anything that has that listed as publisher and attempt to uninstall it. Or with application, you can specify a certain one.
So dropping some wildcards into Microsoft there might not be the best idea.
So if you leave all of those as just asterisks, it's going to try to uninstall everything that it finds in the registry for the uninstall string, which you're
Gonna be a bad day.
going to hit bad day. So what do you say we had? We had bandizip.
Yeah.
And I'm putting asterisks on either side just because there doesn't seem to be any uniformity when it comes to application names. Like sometimes they put the version name after, sometimes they have their publisher name before. So just the name of the software, asterisks on either side, that should work. We're going to skip the publisher because we don't want to get that aggressive. If you don't want that when you don't need it. Version number, we're going to keep asterisk because we're looking to remove everything. And then what do we say bandizip was /s?
Yes, it was. Capital S.
Capital S. And where Putty was MSI, you can put anything in there. There has to be something in there as a placeholder, but it's just basically so it doesn't skip over. You're not actually going to be using that. Because you can see here we actually have the default for the MSI silent there. So instead of just adding that to each one.
Do you still need to have something there, though?
You do have to have something there. If it's blank, it's going to error out when you try to build the object out of it.
Okay. So you can just write uninstall per
Uninstall
version.
or MSI. You can
Oh, okay.
you can type I don't need anything in this space in there if you wanted.
Now, do they have to correspond, right? So if bandizip's first, the first...
Yeah, it is ordered. So after you build all this, it's going to build an object out of each one of those that follows the same order. So if those are out of order, it's going to get your parameters out of order as well. So
Good to know.
bandizip's first, you want the /s first as well. I'm pointing to it, but I could, if bandizip's first, you want your /s first. Highlighter.
Wow.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right, and then I just figured it was easier to have just a default variable for the MSI, so you don't have to type the /qn space / no restart every time, just one time, and that way it just saves you some of the typing. As you've seen with us, typing's not our forte. The more we could avoid it, the better.
Copy paste, baby. Copy paste.
All right, and then from everything that it puts in there, and honestly, if I was better at PowerShell, these would be like parameterized where you can feed those in as you call up the script instead of manually typing them out. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that at all. Part of the reason is because there's so much to feed in. Where if it's a single package, it would make sense. But if there's multiples where there's a lot to feed in, it just seemed easier to me. He said, trying to look for a way to say he's not lazy.
I think your inner monologue is not working.
Own it,
Jordan,
Just
what do we
own
say
it.
about your inside voice?
All right, and then basically for each one of those, it's going to build a new object. Just a PS object is going to count to E1. We have count up one every time. We have the count set to 0 by default because IT starts at 0.
I love the way that is.
It makes all of the sense once you're used to it. The first time you see it, it's very, very maddening.
There's a difference between 0 and 1. There's distance.
And that way, it's just going to basically, it's going to build an array out of all the information you put in there. So it can go into each one. We're looking now at the paths. So you have the software and the WOW6432 node. Those are your basic ones for whether it's 64 or 32-bit. And then we have at the end here the HKey current user. If you're going to keep that one in there, if you deploy this package, you're going to want to send that as logged on user. Otherwise, it's just going to pull the current user of, I guess, system, and it's not going to uninstall what you're thinking. We're not doing that. We're going to remove that. I just put it in there to kind of showcase. Or, whew, hopefully I didn't break anything there. Things are going good. Things are going great, guys.
So,
Nope.
I laid down there's the ante, man. Are you upping the ante now?
Yeah, so you've taught them how to fish, and I'm just going to give them a stick of dynamite.
Boom.
You can just throw it in there. All right. Now we have that. We have our path. It's going to go for each application we named. We have it. It's going to go do a search for it. You can say it's a get item property. First, it's get child item for the path that we just, the HKLM, or CU if you're doing current user. And then we're getting item property where, and then it looks at display name, publisher, and version. That's where all three of those can come into handy. If you remove the publisher for your own safety, make sure you also remove publisher from right here. Otherwise, it's going to try to search with a null value, and I believe the search will fail. That's what I believe will happen. I haven't tested it, but yeah, I'm sure I'm fine. Things are going good.
We test live and in production.
All right, and after this is where it goes to the uninstall. So basically, if it finds something with an uninstall string, it's going to do. Oh, I skipped one important part. I'm going back up.
Go back up.
All right, the fourth one we added the silent parameter. It's going to keep that to here, and then it's going to add the silent parameter to the end of the search, where it finds that item. That's the only way that I could think of where you could put all the silent parameters. Otherwise, it would be basically one executable or multiple MSIs. This way, you can have as many executable uninstalls as you want. It just adds it to the next array that we're building where it goes to the uninstall. All right, and then it's going to come in if it finds the uninstall string. It's not null and it's not an MSI, so we know it's an executable. It's going to come down here, tell you what it found, how it's uninstalling, and then kick off that uninstall and build the uninstall string from there. The next part I have here, the verify that it's gone, is less important. It's basically it's going to check in after it installs and see if it can find the Win32 product. But I mean, if it works, it's going to pull out of inventory anyway. You're not going to see it anymore. So it's going to slow it down a lot, and not be slow it down a lot, and it'll be good for your output log on the deploy, but it's not going to be so good for anything else past that. If it's gone at that point. So since we're looking for speed, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Hopefully I'm removing the right thing, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
And the comment too, I suppose. All right, and the next one is the MSI. A lot of times with the uninstall string, you don't see it when you find the uninstall string with our product, but they keep /i in there, which is install, and you have to manually swap out with the /x. And this is where, if it is MSI, it's going to go through and do the same thing. Uninstall, it's going to kick off the MSI exec with the ID that it found on that specific machine. So you don't have to worry about what version it is there. It's going to pull based on what was there automatically. And then we're going to attempt to remove the stuff that will slow us down again, because modifying scripts before we run them has never gone poorly. All right. And
How's your confidence level, Jordan?
Oh, as high as my confidence normally gets.
So scale 1 to 10?
We're still striving for 0.
All right, so we're just going to build that into a package and not give it a name. All right.
We've never had problems with that before, have we?
PowerShell uninstall, and we'll save that one. And I guess the next part, what I'm going to do, and while I'm doing this, if we genuinely have any questions, it'd be a good time. I'm going to combine all of the collections that Lex pulled out into a single collection, so I can run this one script just against one collection, and it should remove it all.
I'm sorry. I have to say that. There's been a few things you said that I've bit my tongue, but what you just said, I thought, I wonder if those were the first words little baby Jordan heard. We'll put it in a package and not give it a name.
Oh, that's so cool.
You should have seen Shane over here. His shoulders are shaking. He's laughing. I'm like, when's it coming? When's it coming? There it was.
It is firmly known that I was not a planned child. All right, before we hurt my feelings, do you have any questions?
Yes, we do, as a matter of fact. Hey, Jordan, any tips for uninstalling unwanted, non-essential Windows applications? Solitaire? Come on! Yeah, okay. Piping Get-AppxPackage into Remove-AppxPackage only uninstalls it for the current user, even with the all-user switch, and the PackageFullName errors out with Remove-AppxPackage. Thank you in advance, Jay Davis.
Okay, so for the longest time, the all users was for get only. You piped it into remove, or the all Appex package, all user for Appex package. You hit remove, you could put all users, but it only looked at the current users. All users did not exist for remove. They fixed that in 1709. So if you have LTSB machines, you're not going to be able to do it. If you have anything 1709 or later, you can still do it. Actually, this is one of my notable PowerShell failures live on a webcast was this not working, where you have all users on both sides and it's not working. I'm going to go to our GitHub real quick. And we are looking for bonus content. And the Appex is just right here. So this one here, the uninstall Appex packages. If we open that one up and scroll down to the bottom, first thing, if you're going to be using this one, note I have something in there that you need 1809 or later, or it's going to go very poorly for you. They added basically a non-removable flag, so things like edge that you can't remove with Appex, and that wouldn't even try them at this point. It's just, but if you don't have 1809, since that doesn't exist, it's just going to try to uninstall everything. So if you're using this, remove that part if it's not 1809. I have a comment in there to do it. But the other part you're looking for the uninstall, you get with all users, and then you specify the package type filter as bundle. And then pipe that into remove Appex packages for all users, and that should remove for every user for you. I was very confident on this before, and it failed, but this change seems to have worked. I think JJ confirmed independently that this actually worked. It was a long time ago.
I think I heard it worked finally from his
sure,
office.
Absolutely. The one thing with this one is this is going to install for users that have logged on before. But for users that log on for the first time, it's going to install all that software again. You're going to want to run another one for Appex Provision Package, which if you remove that one, it will stop it from installing from new users. Otherwise, every new logon is going to install just all of it. So hopefully that works. If not, shoot a message to support, and they'll come yell at me for giving bad information, and I'll fix it. All right, so I guess what we're doing here is we're building the collection. I should have been doing this while I was answering the question, as I said. I'm going to copy that and paste it in a couple of times.
That is definitely by far the biggest victim of COVID is the fact that we can't have two people up there doing this. Lex and I used to be able to, one person would talk while the other would
Actually
would
do
hurry
work.
work on collections or packages or whatever.
All right. And I even added an extra one for no reason.
Hey, where are you pulling the collection from?
So it's the computer table, then there's a column for collection, and then I'm doing is member of, and from there it will list all your collections. You can just go and click on it.
Don't forget to say any of those.
As all, it would have come back with 0 and I would have been panicking. So thank you for giving me the common courtesy I never gave you.
And Lex, not even looking at the screen, is able to draw on many past experiences.
Collection name.
I don't know how many times I tripped over that live.
Me too.
Remove 'em
Me
all.
too.
Okay, so now, hypothetically, apparently I made that a sub-collection of an existing collection. Luckily, I didn't drill down from existing collection, so it's all still in there. So I'm going to ignore it. All right, so we have the remove them all with 20. Now, it should.
Wait. Do that with more confidence. Look directly in the camera when you say this.
All right, first of all, let me make sure, because I didn't name it clear, that I've got the right one. Okay. Okay.
But you don't want to do what I did, launch the wrong package.
I can say, honestly, I am as confident as I have ever been on anything.
Still not a big hurdle.
For those tuning in, that's not a lot of confidence that this is going to work great. So we're going to
Famous last word.
We're going to point this at the collection of the sub-collection of 74. And there. All right, and ideally, this is going to remove it all.
Do it. Do it.
Let's see what happens here. Well, it's all queued. So since I did remove the step where it's going through and doing a WMI query for each uninstall, this should go faster. I'm seeing successful.
You sounded surprised.
I mean, yeah, I'm seeing successful.
That's what I expected.
And just like that, it changes from flop sweat to relief sweat.
I mean, obviously, I knew what I was doing up here.
Regardless, there's plenty of sweat.
I've tested this thoroughly, and oh, you installed something on WebKMS?
I would never do that, I hope. Oops. Oh, you ought to probably show them how to filter stuff in case you don't want to delete, run packages. If you go to preferences,
In deploy
your
inventory.
options preferences, and then go to target filters, you may want to, before you launch some of these, put some target filters in there.
Preferences. I haven't done target. Oh, you've already got those up for me.
There you go.
So it looks like we are avoiding. Look at that. Everything that JJ doesn't want us, except for Guinness.
Except for Guinness.
JJ went in there and just like, I'm so tired of these guys.
I'm gonna make
Putting
it
a
so they
mushroom
can't
cloud
Guinness.
over this. I'm going to
Just because I'm on the
hard
other side of the
code
country doesn't mean I won't fly out right now. And
All right, so we have all but two that are done. Hey, and it has removed all the software. I mean,
Go look surprised.
obviously, PowerShell's my thing. I was chock full of confidence on this one. So that one, this is just a way for just if you have a collection of all types of software you want to constantly remove, you can just customize that PowerShell script for each version of software you want, put it all in a single collection, and it's just going to go through and remove that. I guess whatever you define on the timing of the schedule.
I'm waiting for Jordan to automate the big red button that stops the webcast entirely.
I need a script that saves me from myself. Well, this isn't working.
End of show.
Deploy the script. End of show. Oh, dang it. I didn't test the PowerShell.
All right, well, it looks like the last two are stuck on initializing, but yeah, they're going to work. Do we have any other questions?
Oh, we have a lot.
Okay.
Actually, we're going to go ahead and jump into a speed round. And some of these questions are more relevant to things we talked about earlier. So both of you, be on your A game. All right. Hey, guys, how can I guarantee that this won't restart any machines? Will this cause any uninstallations of web browsers? I've had a few users complain with the Windows package that Firefox uninstalled. Sincerely, Brennan B.
So for most uninstallers, especially MSI, /no restart will prevent a no restart, but that might not show up properly on your collection until, if it requires a reboot, then it's not going to show up until the machine reboots.
And again, on EXEs, you got to check with the vendor because
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of them will restart, but it's possible. So you might want to check to see if there's a no restart.
Yeah, this PowerShell one should only uninstall exactly what you tell it to. In this case, those 2 bits of software, but if you leave those all as asterisks, you're probably going to get a lot of angry phone calls.
Okay.
All right.
Next question. Hey, guys, is it possible to mass uninstall an individual component of MS Office, such as Skype for Business? Sincerely, Mr. Fusion from Back to the Future. Remember that? Yeah.
So I know Skype is the Appex package that will work with any other Get-Appx, Remove-Appx. If it's part of the Microsoft Office, I think you have to build a certain file type that tells it components to remove, but I'm not familiar enough to...
I think you need to use a customization tool, whether it's the online customization tool. Am I going down the wrong path?
It depends on the version of
Yeah.
Office. Follow up to support with the version of Office because like 2016 is different than 13 and different than... The answers vary.
Yeah, we have a couple of videos from different versions, or support's going to be able to help you out with that one.
Yeah.
Dear Jordan, Lex, and Shane, can I create a group of users that I do not want to have software updated or uninstalled so that I do not accidentally do anything to their machines without manually typing in their machines every time? Thanks, Brennan B.
That's a good one for the target filters that we just showed earlier. You can put the host names in there, or I think you can specify an OU, right?
You can, well, target filters, unless it was changed, you can specify IP filters, and you can specify, you're talking about from preferences.
Yeah.
From preferences, you can do computer name, you can do IP range. In the package, you can do collections. But to call out the specific question, no, we don't have a way to filter out users. You have to filter out their computers.
Computer, yeah.
Hey guys, is there any harm in having multiple MSI uninstall strings in one command step? Thanks, Gandalf T.
I don't think there would be.
I think, okay, so one, let's say we slam 70, 71, and 74 all in one command string. So if 74 is on it, 71 and 70 are going to fail, but the other one, I don't.
Yeah.
I guess the one that runs last, is that what it's going to, yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I would never do that. I would have them as separate, and then make sure that the error return code allows for show as a success, or don't stop if it's trying to uninstall something that's not there.
Yeah.
But I want to know which one it failed on.
Yeah, it's easier to track for troubleshooting, and it's easier to put logic in to say if it doesn't even have it, don't bother. It'll save you a lot of headache. So you could theoretically do it. I just wouldn't.
Wouldn't, yeah.
Hey guys, any tips for silently uninstalling programs that were installed with InstallShield? The PDQ detected uninstall string triggers an interactive uninstall. Example, C program blah blah nerd numbers more nerd blah blah. Sincerely, Chad B.
This is going back from, I'll start if you want. Going back to old InstallShield, you had to build an ISS file. So you had to record an ISS, which means you had to run the exe with, I believe, a -R, and that would record, and then you'd perform your steps. This is going back way back
Yeah.
for InstallShield. There were times I had to do that in order to let it know the answers, because it did expect either you had to provide the answers or it would do an interactive screen. So you'd had to have an ISS file. Later version of InstallShield, they may have addressed that. Depends on the app.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly for ISS if they don't have a way to do that. If you did run it as an interactive session, you could, after the uninstall or somewhere in there, put in a step that basically goes through and clicks OK. With PowerShell, you would have, there's a module you'd have to import to get that to work, and that would be very questionable. Someone would have to be logged into the machine. So I could make it work.
There's
but
ways
not
to
well.
do it that are sketchy. Auto hotkey even. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Check to see if it can handle an ISS file, which was what InstallShield, it's proprietary to InstallShield.
Yeah, so that would be the best model ISS, or if they have anything to do it. If not, you're going to need some way. It's going to have to run as an interactive install, so it can see the pop-up, and you're going to have some way to click those buttons for you. Right?
Okay, got a few more. Hey guys, great to join. My first one from the UK. Which is the best way to remove apps based in user profile and remove for all the profile in the computer at the same time? Thanks. Ooh, interesting. German from the UK.
Okay, so per profile-based installs, that's where the current user comes in. If you want to work for every single profile in there, your options are either to take that one string and change the path to look at, with an asterisk at the front, to look at each folder to where the install would be. Otherwise, you're looking at loading the registry for unused current users and running it there.
Wouldn't you be loading the DAT file on the machine, on the users?
There might be a way where you could generally, yes, that you're correct, but there in some cases you can actually just go through the users or all the profiles and just do a for each. As long as you know where you're looking for,
Yeah.
if you do you can just go through looking for that specific
Yeah,
string
so
and then
where can-
uninstall it. But
Yeah.
it depends. Some apps that desktop or that profile has to be loaded in order to uninstall it. That's a
And
problem.
in that case, you can load their current user registry with PowerShell, but it's
do it at
very
your own
common.
risk.
Yeah.
There is a package in a library called Firefox per user that Chris wrote that does work, but we don't. It has worked, but we don't really stand behind that one as if you're desperate. But if you're looking at how to load those registries and then do that, it's in there, but
There is a chance you could corrupt profiles.
I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, any tips for updating Adobe Creative Cloud apps when Auto Updater is not working? Thanks, Jeremy M.
Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with the Creative Cloud to weigh in.
Boy, I know we've got a video on installing Creative Cloud, but just different portions of that.
Did you say Jeremy M?
I did.
Is that Moskowitz?
That's what I was wondering.
If it is, hey Jeremy.
Hey Jeremy, call
If
us
it's not,
later.
hi Jeremy.
Yeah.
Way less formal if it's not.
I think Brig has either a video.
There's a
blog or
webcast on Creative Cloud. I think there's a good discussion in there of that and setting that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know, there is kind of a customization tool that you can do to get that installed. I imagine you probably go back through that and install components using it.
And then to answer the previous question, actually, I just thought of this, the one about uninstalling the app for each user. If you do run into problems or you don't want to load the registry, I would use a user level GPO. That way, when they log in, then it happens.
Yeah, that's the way we had to handle the Apex packages before the all users worked for Remove, is on logon script basically. All right. Sorry
All
for
right.
Jeremy, we don't have a better answer, but I think we have something for you. If you can find the video.
Yeah. Okay, two more questions. Any plans to have a web UI for PDQ or an API? I would love to be able to create a portal for my users to request software installs automatically. Thanks, Eric B.
I'm glad there's
You know,
people in charge around here because
Eric-
I'm not going to weigh in on this one.
So, a web user portal, since we license by admin, if you allow your end users to select and deploy software, you're going to need to get an enterprise SL license to do that because, in essence, they become a user of the software. At that point, if you do purchase that, shoot a email to support. I've got an example from one of our customers, and if you purchase that, I'd be happy to share that with you. So just ask him to send that to Lex.
Yes,
For the
technically,
low price of.
Yeah.
we have a pretty robust command line that works for it. So if you have someone that can build it out, or if you can follow those instructions, you can build something that will let you let users decide to send that out.
Okay, our final question of the day. Will there be a replacement to the old PDQ Agent? While it had some bad side effects for us, I'm finding the need for it more now with people working remotely. Thanks again, Eric B.
Shane?
We're going to look at Shane.
Everyone looks at Shane.
All right.
Shane?
Here you go, Shane.
Asking the guy that's been on leave for 6 months. Huh?
I can give you the answer.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I can't.
If you've been on leave, then say whatever you want.
Yeah, that's true. Because we can say, he doesn't know.
You never know.
I'm sure it's hard to hear the same thing of we're aware, but those problems were pretty deep. I mean, the architecture is
The issues with the agent were something where it just didn't work with existing product. Okay.
So there you go. There's that dead air we love so much.
I was like, not touching that one.
All right. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we gave you a lot of information that you can kind of remove all the software you don't want, not just Flash. Like I said, Flash will be going away anyway, whether you want to or not, but get ahead of the curve on that and take more control, remove everything you don't want. For PDQ, I'm Jordan.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Brennan B. and Eric B., no relation that I'm aware of. You have won PDQ swag. Please send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. If you have additional questions, feel free to reach out on our support forums. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.